official should have the right to search a student's locker. I, as a student, can certainly agree with this argument. Many students say it invades in our privacy, but really it's most of the students that bring the prohibited objects and illegal things to school that can disagree. By giving random searches in lockers reduces the risk of having students have violence. And it also gives students a sense of safety. A locker is an important tool students use. They store their books, pencils, pens, and any other supplies they use for the school. Lockers are in the school, therefore it makes it the school's district's property. Yes, so they do have a right to search a locker, it's theirs. Students are assigned to each locker and they decorate and make it their own. But it's also used as a storage space for drugs, guns, pocket knives, anything illegal in the school. Principals and teachers aren't always aware of what each and every student brings to school. So this gives them a gap to bring in all those sorts of things into the school. Bullying. Lockers play an important part in bullying. You might not think so, but it does. Lockers is a way for them to store their guns. He or she could have threatened the victim with. It could have been a place where they could have stored drugs he or she are trying to sell. And it's also a place where they can store the evidence. There could be a letter of threats intended to be delivered to a possible victim. Many suspect the Fourth Amendment is being violated. The Fourth Amendment is said to protect you against unreasonable searches and seizures. Yes, it clearly states that. But in the 1980s, the Supreme Court case, New Jersey, as eHow website states, the Supreme Court ruled that locker search is legal not necessarily under strict warrants, but just a reasonable suspicion. This ultimately relaxed the requirement of the Fourth Amendment and is the basis for locker searches today. There are reasonable teachers have to have a reasonable suspicion to check your locker. They have to go through regulations such as having a reliable source and having a traceable evidence on the student. The school's most important responsibility is to keep us safe. They give us the fundamentals and tools to use outside in the real world, but they also have to provide a safe environment for us. They have to keep things in order. Schools try to keep things in order. Teachers try to keep students in order. And it's an easier task by avoiding complications and keeping them to the minimum. The nation wants to keep us safe. The nation is trying to provide safety. Gangs, drugs, violence, and guns has become a priority to the nation. Yes, I know all of us want a little privacy, and I can agree that the lockers are ours, but the school is willing to give you that until you screw up, until you ruin it all for the others. In Glen High School, we have had drug searches. There has been drugs that come and search for drugs in schools. There have been suspects, and their parents were called and escorted to the police cars. Some changed their life and turned around their life, and some kept doing what they were doing. But now the school was aware. In the Glen High School planner, under search and seizure, it states, it is permissible for authorized school personnel to search students' their personal property, their cars parked on school grounds, lockers, or desks when there are reasonable grounds for suspecting that the search will turn up evidence that the student is violating or is violating either law or school rules. Searches must be approved and conducted / supervised by principal and superintendent. So now you guys all know that our school does permit locker searches. So I hope you guys all know, and it's a good thing to have school officials search certain students' lockers. Violence can be stopped, drugs can stop spreading, and lives can be saved. There are many reasons why school officials should search students' lockers. I care for my family, friends, and peers, and so should you.